Dave, I want to ask you a question right off the bat. When you saw this one on the rundown, what were your thoughts? Like, what were you thinking of when you saw this? Like, Jesus, like, what are we really going to be getting into? Like, what were your thoughts?
About the floods?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I just thought we were gonna like. I didn't get any. I wasn't like blown away by it. Like, it's kind of a pretty big story, so I'm not surprised.
Oh, okay. I thought you would have been surprised.
What did you expect?
That's what I'm saying. I thought you were going to be surprised by it, to be honest with you. Because, to be honest with you, every time I bring it up to somebody, I'm not getting a whole lot of interest. That's a nice way of putting it. There's not a lot of people I feel like who really give a shit about the situation because it's not exactly like a sexy, juicy, dramatic story in the sense of something happened in a negative way. There's been some negative things that happened down there, but for the most part, what we're talking about is down in Texas, and the exact location is a county down there. I had it written on this thing, and I can't. My notes are all over the place right now, so you have to excuse me. But, here it is. Still missing by the Guadalupe River. It's down by Kent County. And there was a lot of rain. So what was discussed on the news was that it was almost like a month's worth of rain in a span of like 8 or 9 straight hours. And I think what makes this situation so much worse is that it happened literally overnight. So it's people that were literally in bed, asleep for the evening, being woken up by the cold chill of water hitting them on the foot or onto the bed or whatever the case may be, and all of a sudden they wake up in like a rush and their whole house is flooded up to the gills. There's actually videos on YouTube of camera footage, like security cams or like ring cams of houses that are by said river, and they just kind of did it like in real time. They sped it up, just how fast that water rose and then started spilling off into the sides and just causing all kinds of fucking destruction and just taking literal homes and just sending it someplace else, literally relocating full homes, vehicles. It was kind of a spectacle to watch on the whole deal. And if that would have been it alone, when people see that on the news, they go, oh, it's terribly sad. You know, you don't want to see people lose their homes. You don't want to see people lose everything that they've earned. Then you get the story of the daycare facility that really isn't all that close to the river, but it's riverside. And the river rose up, taking a chunk of the facility and some of the kids with it. There's even a story being passed around of one of the adults that were working at the facility literally risking her life trying to jump into the water to get the kids, was able to save a few, but unfortunately couldn't save them all. So there's so many human elements to the whole story. You don't hear a lot about that. But there is one specific part of the story that I really did want to talk about on the show. And it's about a system called the Code Red. So one of the biggest issues of this entire scenario is there's a lot of people asking the question, why didn't we get any kind of warning, any kind of heads up, any kind of flash warning on our phones or a phone call if for those in the area with landlines? Like, we didn't get any kind of warning at all whatsoever what was going to go on. And we later now find out, I mean, it wasn't too much later, but after the event and the water had receded, the conversation started to take place about why it wasn't there one, and it turns out that there should have been. So there were firefighters, that were at the scene of the rising river. There were some reports of the water getting high. There were reports of water damage. There were reports of people calling 911 and asking for assistance. Firefighters and police officers responded to the calls, and when they would get there, they would see this exceeding problem, and they actually have audio of a firefighter calling in to the dispatch to ask if they can send out a code red message to the residents, either to stay in their homes or depending on the situation as it escalates, or to seek high ground. Basically, get the hell out of your homes. This is going to get bad, and your house is not going to save you. And the dispatcher was okay with the idea on paper, but apparently needed approval from some supervisor to send out the code red. They never received the approval until about 10:30 in the morning. As a matter of fact, they were people who were trapped in their homes, some of which were able to get out. There was a story of a young man who made it out of his window before his room completely flooded, and he climbed an electrical box to climb to the roof. He couldn't quite make it to the roof, but the water had receded enough to where it was still over his knees while he was on the box. Luckily, it didn't exceed over to the roof, so he's hanging off of a roof on an electrical box, surrounded by river water, as his phone notification goes off saying, "Hey, flash warning, be careful." So, and I love the guy in the video because he goes, "Yeah, no shit," which is probably the most appropriate response I've ever seen to a situation like that ever. So they're investigating even now why that took so long to happen, why that took so long for the system to interact and to get sent to the residents. There was the most perfect part of the video that I saw was some guy saying that he didn't understand the approval process because of the emergency nature of a code red, right? Okay, you need approval to send it out. Why? What's the worst case scenario? A false report? You have all agencies respond to a situation that's not necessary? Is that a risk you're willing to take?
It's funny you say that too, because I didn't know that happened. But I remember when we were getting some rain, my phone was exploding. Like multiple times it went off. Like my DoorDash app was going. I wasn't driving, but just in general.
Right.
My DoorDash is getting spammed. I'm like, bro, guys, relax. There's sun outside.
Yeah.
Like, chill out. And it did rain pretty hard, but not really that long. But it makes sense now.
Yeah.
Because they see what's going on over there, and they're like,
they're on top of it.
If we get a drop of water, you're getting a fucking warning. Because we are not going, like, we are not going to get, so that makes sense. So I do, it was excessive.
Yeah.
Like, it was more than I ever remember. So this makes sense.
So I was going to save this for a little further later, but since you're sidetracking it into now, I think it fits into this conversation that we're about to have. You got the flash warning before the water came, correct? Like It was blowing you up and all that stuff. Did you get any kind of follow-up after the fact? Like while the water is here, were there any other messages or any other emergency services stuff being texted to your phone? Or was it just that one initial, hey, be careful, it's a flash warning? Because
so for the phone one,
it
was one. But then there were other participants, like I said, like DoorDash and shit.
Yeah.
And then as I was driving home, there were electrical signs, like billboards and stuff that said, like there was one that said tornado warning. There was another one that said flood warning. Like the signs like changed. They went to black and they had like yellowish lettering on it that said like tornado warning. Like you would get an alert. It would say it, but like in bigger letters. So it wasn't a repeat, but it was like plastered all over the fucking place. I didn't even know the signs could do that until like recently. So,
yeah. So, okay. And just to be clear, the area, because we're talking, when I first started this conversation, I was talking about a county in Texas. But you're talking about your particular area. You live near Philly. You live on the eastern side of PA. So you had a tremendous amount of rain, and there was some flooding in your general area. And then shortly after you told me about your alerts, I think like the next day, I got alerts here in New York about flash warning, heavy rain, the whole shebang. And like you said, when I got those alerts, at best, I think it was like cloudy. There was no water anywhere. But I remembered like the day before that you had that situation with the water. So I said, okay, well, let's just, keep eyes and ears, you know what I'm saying? And it ended up raining pretty good over here. But we found out the day after that North Jersey got fucking bombarded with just all kinds of water. The videos on YouTube right now are very similar of the Texas situation. Just cars just going down the road, surfing down the fucking road and just disappearing off into the thing. What had us worried is that here in New York, in the city, we've never really had a flooding issue before. We've had rain, we've had elements before, right? The one time we had a true blue water issue where we got flooding, we've got damage by water, the whole shebang, we had it for Sandy. I personally know about 2 people who literally lost their homes in the Rockaways from damage, from, where we were in the house and then the water rose up the staircase into the second floor type shit. Where, like they would get nervous. Like, I'm in the second floor now and it's still in my house. Like, it was really, really bad. We don't really get that like that. When Sandy happened, we were in the old apartment, which I would say geographically is more towards the center of Brooklyn. We're not really near a water source, so we really didn't get a lot of that. I mean, rain, some backed up plumbing, but we didn't really get the river water on our area. We live a lot closer to the water now. We live literally 15 minutes from whichever river that fucking is. Hudson or East, I can't tell. But we're very, very close. So I took that flash warning very seriously because I was just like, wait. And I think that goes into the Code Red conversation that I'm trying to have now, in the sense of, as a listener, as for those of you who are listening to us talk about it here and now, would the warning, do you believe, I'll ask you since you're on the thing with me, do you believe that at 4:30 in the morning when that firefighter said, hey, let's give these people some kinds of a heads up that this might get bad at some point, do you believe that saves more lives just off that one text message alone, or do you believe this was kind of an inevitable situation? The warning may not have
No. That alert going out would have significantly changed everything.
Well, the only reason I asked is because when I was watching, because I sent you I watched all these videos, and one of the speed up ones that I was talking about, that river rose 29 feet in 45 minutes. That means if, let's say that firefighter calls at 4:30 and the dispatch is all over it, we're going to send it out right now. Let's give it take a few minutes. Let's say 4:45, you get the alert. That's 15 minutes from when the guy called it in. That's 15 minutes into that 45 minutes. You got 30 minutes left before he gets to 30 feet. Even if you got the heads up, especially at 4 something in the morning, like, you're frazzled. Like, you're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, where the fuck am I going to go? Where am I supposed to be? I don't know. They're putting a lot of pressure on the fact that Code Red didn't get out, and I'm not entirely sure. At that time in the morning, with everything that's going on, as fast as that shit happened, I don't know if it alleviates as many problems as people think that it does. It
doesn't hurt.
No, I want it.
Doesn't hurt more,
I want it.
Unfortunately, in this argument, that matters more than what you the fuck just said. Like, that probability is like, sure, maybe you're right, but
I want it.
How many people could have survived if it did go out? Right? Like, especially in those areas where it went really, really fast, that could have been, and I know, like, doing these statistics kind of suck, but that could have been the difference of 5, 10 of those little kids' lives.
Yeah.
If they had that, and they're so close. Remember, like, for me, I'm nowhere near water. So
right.
When I get that alert, it's not quite on the top of my brain. Right. But if I'm sleeping right next to a river, I might take it seriously.
On the off chance, let's go to Walmart real quick and just get away from the house for just a hot minute.
Yeah. And trust me, it's the world of difference. Like, the moment they called it in, the moment they say, okay, boom, they hit the button, everybody gets the alert. That shit is mad loud. You wake up, it frazzles you. You rub your eyes. You're like, oh my goodness, warning. And then you look outside, and it's just like, that's another thing you got to take under consideration too. I'm at work. I'm about to leave. I get the warning. It's not raining yet, but where my wife is, it's raining. And she said it's raining really hard. So now I'm anticipating it. I see it. Like, I have a lot of time to fucking react. But how fast does fight or flight come in when you hear that fucking screeching noise in your phone?
Yeah.
You open your eyes, you're like, rainstorm, and you hear it. You look out the window, like, oh, fuck, it's pouring, dude. It feels intense. You stand up, you look out the window and go, oh, shit, my front door is covered by water. Maybe I should do something.
Yeah. Maybe I should take action.
That adrenaline rush is a lot different from the second story versus my story. So,
I got a follow-up I want to ask you. I got a follow-up now because I think you just raised a very good point. You just said 2 seconds ago, you're not actually by a body of water. So your initial reaction was, okay, well, I'm glad I got the warning, but we'll see what happens. And then you gave a scenario where if you are by water and you get the thing, you might want to take action. I think that's why I asked the question about the warning. Because, like, for instance, right, the bigger conversation we're really having is this current climate change situation, right? I just found out recently, I don't know if anybody out there knows this, I found out from scientists, because I watch documentaries all goddamn day. Tornado Alley, that general area that cuts down the Midwest, Oklahoma, eastern part of Texas, that kind of stuff, down into Louisiana, that territory of area where tornadoes constantly form, that some bitch has moved. It's cutting down towards Alabama and shit. Like, it's adjusted itself closer to the east. Mm-hmm. And you guys in PA got a tornado warning, which is for some reason starting to becoming a little bit more common, and to the point where you guys PA got the tornado warning, but I got the text message for it too, up here in New York. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They were like, look, listen, just so you know, your neighboring state's about to get his ass kicked. So on the off chance some bitch shifts, just be ready. So my follow-up question is this. I feel like if you're in an area like Tornado Alley, you live in this area, you know this shit could happen, your phone starts going off at 4 in the morning, and you see tornado warning, I feel like you're going to act.
Taking that shit seriously.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to act almost immediately. But if you don't live north, like for instance, I'm in New York. If I get a buzz that PA is going to get a fucking tornado, I'm not thinking twice about that shit. But I'm getting it for a reason. It could shift. Something could happen where that situation that caused that tornado could happen here. But since I'm not used to reacting to situations like that, I just might drag ass. Because I just remember, like, all right, we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, like, I think you need to be prone to the situation. You need to be accustomed to the idea that anything could fucking happen.
To the neighboring states comment, I mean, what if, like, for instance, you might, let's say you get the warning, and you're like, oh, shit, PA tornado warning, and then you hit me up. You're like, yo, tornado warning, that's crazy, right? And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're like, oh, you didn't get the tornado warnings? Like, no, my phone's dead. Or whatever the fuck it was. Like, if it went out, it was dead, now it's charged, whatever, right? Like, I may be in the area and for whatever reason didn't get the message. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then you're hitting me up, checking up on me, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? So I Google it. Or it's raining. I'm like, oh, is it really that fucking bad? You know how those conversations goes. Yeah, it's on the news and yada yada. So that might, you know what I mean? So like, if you let the people know around, even if they may not be in the splash area, it could also raise alert for people that you may know that's there. All I know is that message not going out fucked a lot of people, and I don't care what your theory is. That's it, dude.
No, I'm playing devil's advocate. I want the warning. I want that warning ASAP. Let me decide how much ass I'm dragging on that situation. Like, I feel like you could wipe your hands clean of it if you let everybody know equally and promptly and then they make their decisions moving forward.
Like, the approval should have been the whatever you call the leader, the captain, whatever of the firefighter that called it. That should have been the approval.
That should have been the approval. Yeah.
So the guy assessing, say, hey, sergeant, captain, whatever the fuck the hierarchy of firefighting is,
captain,
we got a serious situation. We need a code red. You need a code red. Ask his qualifying questions. Okay, he sends the message. It goes out.
Yeah, because if he's wrong, he's got to deal with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't have to go any higher than that. The word, like you said, the worst that can happen is you become a meme. But at least nobody's dead.
Yeah, at least
right. They're gonna make fun of you.
Yeah.
But nobody's dead.
They're gonna roast you, but at least you're
getting cooked. But
yeah. But you saved as many lives as you could. You know, and I mean this in all sincerity when I say this. This was a natural disaster. It wasn't like the police department or the fire department or the dispatch service tried to purposely fuck anyone. They just didn't respond in the way that I think people feel like they really should have. To send that message out, I think that's the more disrespectful part. If you didn't get ahead of it, that's one thing. But to be in the middle of it and then send it, I think is like the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, imagine being knee-deep in your personal belongings with mud and your house being towed away down a river into God knows where, and then your phone goes, hey, be careful, it's going to rain. And you're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Yeah, no kidding, it's going to rain. Jesus Christ. But yeah, there's they're saying it's the death count right now is well over 100. There's campers missing, there's homes missing, there's vehicles missing. They have a number of individuals missing that they haven't pronounced dead. The numbers of dead is because they literally have the bodies. We know these are dead. So they have a number of people that are also missing. So we have a chance maybe of locating some of those individuals. And we have another thing with the climate change deal. We have the situation with Texas with the large amount of rain. The Northeast, as we explained, got hit with it. PA, New Jersey, New York, all got hit with torrential rain. But another little known fact, 6 active volcanoes in the last 2 or 3 weeks. 6. I had a rundown sheet not that long ago where we had the first volcano on it. Remember? We were gonna talk about it here on the show. For whatever reason, we dropped it. It was probably for a subject that needed our attention more. But since that one, there's been 6. So this is... Is anybody keeping track of this shit? I know that there's professionals out there, climatologists and stuff, geologists. Everyone's getting together and trying to figure out the mood swings of this planet. But there's a lot of moving pieces right now going on. And my wife devastated me with this one. She was just like, have you been around this goddamn city? One earthquake, one tornado, one true blue hurricane, it all goes away. This city is like, I feel like this city is being held together by spit and glue. You guys got to see the YouTube videos of every time it rains hard, our subway system is the one that gets it. People were swimming to get to the train. And the train was still operating. They had to stop it at some point because it was getting to be too much water.
It's crazy work that people still hopping on the like.
They gotta get home.
I'm running upstairs. Y'all crazy. Bro.
They trying to get home. I get it. I wouldn't want to run the risk of getting stuck in the tunnel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it gets really fucking high and to the point where it starts choking up train mechanics. But there were people literally on the train. The train got to the station, the door opened and the water poured into the train. And they stood on their seats like, yo, close the door. It's like, nigga, no, get off.
Yo, New Yorkers are crazy, bro.
Get off. Don't do that. No, Jesus, yeah. So definitely want to send out condolences to the families. Definitely want to I'll probably going to look it up a little bit more. I probably won't bring it back to the show unless something really crazy happens, but I definitely want to keep up on it because I want to see how this whole code red thing really pans out. I want to see what happens because there's this one guy, I don't forgot what his rank was, but he was very adamant that he wants to know exactly what fucking happened here and why that code red wasn't sent out, and wants to see how they can. I'm glad to see somebody sitting there going, no, we have to fix this. This is a very, very big problem. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate finally someone going, instead of going, well, we'll investigate, we'll see what happens. He's like, no, I'm going to find this motherfucker, and I'm going to figure out what the fuck went wrong, and then we're going to fix it right now, because it can't fucking happen like that. So we'll see. We sat here and we talked about the LA fires, and we had a very spirited conversation about that. I figure I bring this one up, so that's the take.